ready.
Okay, so it's absolutely fantastic to have you with me today, and I hope we can have a really nice kind of shared experience. We're looking at stress and breathing and things like that, and we're going to be going through a short, I promise, a short visual PowerPoint, so you can have a look at some of the ideas that are out there that might be helpful to you at the moment. So can you see them for a start off? Can you see a picture of breathing?
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay. So as I said, if you want to have your cameras on, have your cameras on. If you prefer not to, that's also fine. Whatever is easiest and best for you, whatever works. All righty. So I'll get started. And the other thing I think particularly to point out on this is there is no right or wrong way to do any of this stuff. It's not, there's no miracle art to it. Everyone has been breathing their whole lives, so don't, but it's more complicated than it needs to be. And the other thing I think I wanted to start off by saying was talking a little bit about what we've all been going through over this year, and it's coming up to a year. So I think sometimes you can have this imagination that everybody else is having this amazing time, and it's just maybe us that are having these up and down days, or days that are a bit more difficult. I can promise you, having spoken to loads of people, because I'm self-isolating, nobody's having fun. If you manage to eke out any joy at all, good for you. So go easy on yourself. You know, I appreciate there are people who have learned to speak Mandarin and have lost weight and done all these amazing things. Those people are amazing. They're also fundamentally quite annoying. So if all you've done is make your bed and sort of brush your teeth, good for you. It's hard. It's hard at the minute. The other thing I wanted to sort of say about is this idea about focusing your time and energy. Sometimes we can be placed in a situation where to reach out, to ask for help, or to say that maybe things aren't always going brilliantly, can be seen as a sign of weakness or failure. It's a sign of humanity, and without humanity, none of us can go forward. We have to have that experience of being able to be vulnerable sometimes with each other. The other thing as well is this self-care is not a replacement for having decent working conditions or a happy home life. And if people are in trouble in those areas, then please seek support that's appropriate to them. You know, no amount of breathing's amazing, mindfulness, meditation, amazing, but they're not going to stop real issues that impact people's lives. That's what unions, HR, police services for, all those kinds of things. So and the other thing is as well, we've had a bit of a narrative about 2020 and now 2021 a little bit being a bit of a bin fire, but some really happy and joyful things have happened in 2020. You know, whilst it's been uncomfortable and difficult for people, we have seen people saying thus far and no further. You know, we've seen people putting people's physical health to the front. We've seen people being more excited about their communities and about the kind of basic everyday happy stuff that's happening as well. So I think part of this as well is about stopping and finding some joy in the things that are happening. Don't forget, when we experience anxiety, when we experience difficult times, it's not a sign that there's some kind of moral failure going on. It's a sign that genuinely our bodies are responding to a threat. If you look at the way the news cycle is built, it's built on fresh terror, isn't it? There is no happy story like, oh, today someone was really nice to their neighbor and took in a parcel for them. It was awesome. That's the story doesn't find its way to the top. So if you are finding that you may be getting sort of an adrenaline or anxiety response, that's perfectly normal. That's your body interpreting what's actually quite a risky and scary situation for a lot of people. And so what I would say is one of the key things is to notice. I know where you hold your tension. I have mine here. You may find yourself clenching your shoulders, jaw. I found it really interesting. Someone sent me that, if you're reading this thing, that little picture at the side. And I found myself, actually, I've seen it a couple of times now, and every single time I've seen it online or it's been sent to me on Facebook or something, I have actually been clenching my jaw. So I'm like, making a special effort to not do that. If you are experiencing things of that any of these symptoms at the side about dizziness, tummy aches, anxiety, it's a sign that you have absolutely appreciated the situation that we're all in and sharing at the moment. At the bottom, you've got 2 links. One of them takes you to the Every Mind Matters quiz, and it's a really interesting way of figuring out what issues are particularly impacting your lives and working to resolve them. And there's loads of stuff on there. It takes you through some really nice resources. And the other one is, at the moment, maybe sometimes people are experiencing anxiety, which is not what we're here to talk about today particularly. I just mention it because sometimes people come to places for support and help. There's CBT guide for how to manage and decrease anxiety, and I'll certainly put this all in. But I think one of the most useful things we can do now is think about the experience of our bodies at the moment. So one of the things that's amazing about breathing exercises is it takes you to a place where you connect up your mind and your body. We're all experiencing these kind of like heightened emotional states, and I would say boredom as well. I don't know if anyone else is experiencing boredom right, well, hopefully not right now, but one of the things that's really interesting about it is that it can actually be quite stressful to feel bored, to feel like things aren't where you want them to be. And one of the things that we know with our breathing is that it's a really useful way of slowing down our heart rate, giving that biofeedback. And when you actually decide to change the way that you're breathing, what you're actually doing is getting in touch with your emotions, in touch with your body, and then making an intention about, this is how I am, this is where I am, this is what I'm feeling, and this is what I'm going to do about it. And that can actually make you feel a lot better. You know, even this idea that you can have control over that experience can be quite relaxing. You know, when you become stressed, your brain releases this stress hormone, cortisol. And when you take deep breaths, you get more oxygen in your bloodstream, and that helps you to relax. It helps you that feel good. People who have control over their breathing relieve pain, as we'll see with Lamar's and all sorts of things like that. We're not doing that today, don't worry. But also this idea about stimulating the lymphatic system, improving your immunity, increasing your energy, lowering your blood pressure, improving your digestion even, and also helpful support for your diaphragm. So let's have a think about what we can do in terms of an easy go. So I don't mind if you have your cameras on or off, it's entirely up to you. Sometimes people don't like the thought that other people will look at them, but my feeling is everyone's going to be focused on what they're doing themselves. So whatever makes you feel good. If you have a blocked nose, by the way, or you've got asthma, go easy. And if you feel dizzy, because sometimes people overthink this a little bit, just stop, it's fine. But what I really want you to be able to do is to stick your hand on your tummy right now, on your belly. And one of the things I think, I know if this is true so much for guys, but certainly sometimes women don't have a full appreciation of their amazing bodies. So you grab hold of yourself and get in contact with your stomach and feel actually how you are just when you're breathing normally. So have a big deep breath in and feel it move, and then feel it breathe out. And while you're taking these slow, deep breaths, just watch what's happening to your body. Watch what's happening to your shoulders. Watch what's happening to your stomach. And watch what's happening to the way that you feel. So obviously we want you in a nice, comfortable position. If you want to close your eyes, that's absolutely fine. We're going to breathe in slowly to a count of 5. So if you can breathe in with me now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause for a moment, that feeling of a breath, and then out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of the things that's really useful as well, just carry on breathing in your own time now. One of the things that's going to be really useful with this is this noticing how you feel before you start a breathing exercise, and then noticing how you feel afterwards. Often we just do tasks and we don't really think about how they're impacting us. And these things are really gentle, easy ways to take control of just a moment. And once you have that moment back, you can then plan the next moment. Have a look at this other suggestion I've got here. So this is kinesthetic breathing. So it's the same principle, but what it does is it helps you to connect up to yourself. It's really nice to do with a loved one. Please don't do this with a stranger, it'll freak them out. But if you have like a little kid who's in panic, or if you're feeling panicky, if you get your hand up, it says stretch your hand out like a star. So it can be like a star, but also in a star shape. And what we're going to do is when we breathe in, we're going to go up one side of the finger, and then we're going to go back down again. And what it does is it helps you just to connect up to yourself and to your own body, and have that real feeling of being in control. So if you want to do that with me now, I don't mind if you have your hand up or you have it down so it's comfortable for you, whichever you like. And stretch your hand out, get your pointer finger ready. And then we're going to slide our finger up the side of our thumb together, breathing in through our noses. When we get to the top of the thumb, just pause and then slide down again. Take a deep breath. And when you're ready, we'll breathe in, up to the pointer finger, and then down again. We should be at the middle finger now. So slide up the middle finger, deep breath, and down again, breathing out. Up the middle of the ring finger, sorry, to the top. Take a pause, and then down again. Breathe out through your mouth. Last finger, baby finger. Breathing in and breathing out. So how have people found that? How do you find that? You can talk to me, you don't have to, but you can if you like. Have you tried that before? Was that new for people?
Never done that before.
How was it? Was it weird or was it okay?
Yeah, it was calming and
different.
Yeah. It is a strange thing because it's almost being able to have just that moment. Because I found myself when I'm feeling anxious, when I'm feeling stressed out, what I most feel is out of control. And being able to just stop and appreciate what my body's doing, what my mind's doing, and then actually just retort, like, no, I'm in charge of this actually. And being able just to connect back up again makes a difference. So when you've done the one hand, sometimes people want to take a break and they want to do the other hand, but it's really nice. I mean, I've used it a lot with young people or people who are in mental distress to help them to calm down, because it gives you something to do with your hand. It gives you something to make sure you're keeping the pace, but it's also something that can connect you to other people as well as to yourself. That's why I say friends and loved ones only, not strangers on the bus, particularly in the current infection control times, please. But it's a really lovely experience, that idea that you can both calm down, particularly if you've got somebody who's really, really scared. Okay, so we'll try another one now. So this is box breathing. And what box breathing does is it helps you to get a rhythm. So we'll try it again. And what this one does is you go in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, and then stop again. And what that does is it gives you also this kind of rolling rhythm. So as the first one helps you to ground yourself, it's a grounding exercise. This one is more of a regulatory one. Yeah. So we'll try it again. Close your eyes if you want to, and we'll breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then pause again for 4. So often if you do these for at least 3 times, you'll start to get yourself back into the zone. I find if I'm late for a meeting, I will often do a deep breath before I go in, because I don't know if you've had that experience where you're running for a meeting or you know you're about to press button now and start a meeting, but you're like, from the last one. It's often really useful before you do that to just take a moment. No one's going to notice if you're 1 minute late or 10 minutes late. You know, it's not like you're turning up with your Costa coffee where you've clearly decided to queue instead of go to the meeting, which is rude. It's like being able to take like that minute, that's absolutely fine. With all deep breathing, placing a hand on your chest and your stomach can help you when you're first starting, but also feeling that expansion in your stomach. And so if you can try and relax your muscles into it, relax into doing it rather than engaging them, that's also quite useful. But there's something that people perhaps don't always realize with breathing, is that you can doesn't actually help you necessarily to calm down. So deep breaths is linked to your sympathetic nervous system, which controls your fight or flight. But it's actually your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the breathing out, which is influenced by that. So if you're taking a lot of deep breaths in, you're basically going to cause yourself to hyperventilate. So once you've got a bit of control, it's quite useful to do something where you actually lengthen your out breath. And that's what they call the 4-7-8 method. So at the end of the day, this is just breathing. And if all you do or take from this is when you're feeling stressed out, take a couple of deep breaths, fine, don't worry about it. You don't have to do special box breathing, or, you know, there's ones where are linked to yogic practices where you breathe up one side of the nose and out the other. If that's your bag, go for it. But really, it's just about you thinking about how to just enjoy the experience of managing, because none of us are going to be doing amazingly fantastic, but actually managing and being competent is really exciting and experience to have, particularly when you're feeling that it's a bit far out of your reach sometimes. So we'll try this one again, and we'll do this for a couple of rounds. What I would also say is, if you can't hold your breath, don't hold your breath. Do what suits you, do what fits your well-being. So close your eyes. If you want to, put one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest, just like we did in belly breathing. And take a slow, deep breath 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we'll hold our breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then breathe out and really get to the absolute bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take a pause and we'll try again. Deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then exhale. And if you want to breathe out loudly, do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, last time round. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale. Really get to the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So hopefully you've had a bit of a. So when you're taking that big deep breath, absolutely push out. Sometimes people like a thing called bumblebee breathing, which is where they make a proper old big noise at the same time, like. If you're teaching kids, that's often something that's, to be honest, the most fun for them. So it's a really useful thing to do as well. So if you're on your own, do it. If you're in a toilet, try not to freak anybody out. But if you want to do it, it's your time. Go ahead. whatever works for you. So note how you feel at the end of the exercise is really, really important. That idea of valuing your time, recognizing what your physical responses are to your environment. You know, there's lots of things we can do in terms of managing our own distress and difficulty. Another thing I would say is if you are in difficulties to do with work balance, deal with those things outside of your breathing. The breathing is not here as a replacement for, emotional and practical HR support, things like that. It's there to enhance the experience that you're having. And I think I wanted to give people an opportunity if they wanted to pop off at this point, or if they wanted to stay on. And the messages I would give, love a bit of Audre Lorde, everybody. So it's a brilliant, brilliant thing. This idea about self-care is something that we're going to be perhaps coming back to over the next couple of sessions. It's not, if you are relaxed by doing your nails, having a facial, all that stuff, great, brilliant. But actually self-care should be something which is key to your work practice, whatever you do, because you cannot draw from an empty bucket. And time and time again, particularly in kind of health and social care, in PSS, all those sorts of environments, people are so focused on making sure other people have a good service that they don't spend the same amount of time on making sure they're able to give a good service. So there's something around making sure that you treat yourself with the same respect and compassion that you treat other people. It's super important to be able to do that. So things that you can do to help yourself to do that, or to remind yourself. So sometimes have a reminder on a calendar or on a phone to take 5 minutes. On phones, they've got fantastic GIFs which actually breathe in and breathe out, and you can copy them and follow them. On computer monitors, put messages on bathroom mirrors, put messages. Also, when you're booking time into your diary and you're booking calendar appointments, if you know you've got a stressful one coming up or afterwards, book your breathing time in or out afterwards. Spotify has fantastic breathing exercises online, as do NSS Choices. You've got one here from UCLA Health, as does YouTube. So there's loads of ways that you can build this into your everyday taking care of yourself. And also when people watch you and they see you take care of yourself, they will take care of themselves. So part of this kind of building a culture where we have compassion and support for each other is actually role modeling the kind of behavior you want to see in other people. And I think sometimes with that kind of like heroic leadership kind of thing, you look at people all the time and it's like, when are they sleeping? Like then that's bad for you. And it's bad for people to see that. So for those people who want to jump off now, I've loved having you here. It's brilliant. If not, we're going to try a short 5-minute breathing meditation. You're welcome to have your camera on or off, whatever suits you. Entirely as it suits you, we're going to have a quick go. But before I do that, has anyone got any questions? You don't have to, it's not the law. I always feel horrified when anyone asks me. When I've turned up for a seminar and I'm expecting to have some knowledge laid on me and then just eat my sandwich quietly, I'm absolutely horrified when anyone asks. But how about we'll take a break, and if anybody wants to ask questions afterwards, we can do that. So should we try a breathing meditation? Would you up for that? Okay, so this is a 5-minuter. It probably won't feel like 5 minutes. So think about how you're feeling right now. Get yourself nice and comfortable. Relax. Get yourself sorted out. Nestle into there. Nice and straight with your back. If you can be a little bit unsupported, that's quite helpful. Have your head up in a posture that's like dignified, a proud posture. That will be something that you'll find quite easy to breathe into. Okay, if you're ready to, please feel free to put your camera on or off or close your eyes, however it suits you. Keep back upright, not too tight, hands resting where you're comfortable. Stick your tongue out, wiggle it around, and then put it back so that it's not in that horrible clenched experience that sometimes we have without realizing. And also notice when we do this breathing, notice how you're holding your body, where the tension is, and take some nice deep breaths. So as we're doing now, nice gentle breaths, don't force it. Just breathe naturally, however it comes to you. So when you're seated still, think about how you're seated. You're breathing slowly in and out. Where your feet touch the floor. Make sure you wiggle your toes and then relax them. Think about how you're connecting to the floor, to the chair. As you think about your body coming up from the feet, to the ankles, to the knees, notice any areas of tightness or tension and purposefully relax them. In the backs of your legs, in the small of your back. If you need a little wiggle, take it. In your arms or your shoulders, in your neck or your head. In the space between your eyes, make sure that's nice and relaxed. Soften and breathe. Now begin to tune into your breath in your body. Feeling the natural flow of that breath. You don't need to do anything to it. It doesn't have to be long or short, just natural. Notice where you feel your breath in your body. It might be in your belly, in your abdomen, or your chest or your throat. Or in your nostrils, you might feel the cold air coming in and out. See if you can feel the sensations of the breath. One breath at a time. When one breath ends, notice how the next breath begins. Now, as you do this, you might notice that your mind starts to wander. You might be thinking about all kinds of things. It's perfectly natural, don't worry about it. If it happens, it's absolutely not a problem. It's very natural. If you have a mind, it will wander. Just notice if your mind has wandered off. You can say something like thinking or wandering in your head just softly, and then gently direct your attention back to your breathing. So we'll stay just for a short time in silence, breathing and noticing our breath. Okay. All right, so we'll try some 4-4 breathing now. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out, hold, 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. And again, breathing in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, and out again. Big deep breath. And just let your breathing go back to normal. Okay, we're going to take 3 long breaths now, in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And in through your nose and out again. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes or not as you choose. And just think about what your body is experiencing now. Just that, hopefully, you're feeling a little bit tense. But I often feel like a little bit, when I've had some deep breathing and I've had some moments just to think, I often feel a bit tired. And what can happen then is when you are taking any time out for yourself to meditate or to breathe or to focus on your own thoughts, what you can actually realize is the things that you're covering up. So, you know, we use coffee, we use calendars, all those things to just keep us on a routine. And when you actually come to the moment where you just pause and stop all that, that's when you can tell, actually, I'm hungry, or actually, I need to go to the loo, or actually, I'm upset about something else. And when that happens, it's not a sign that you've done anything wrong. It's a sign you've done everything right, because it's the underlying stuff that will get you. So, you know, you don't get prizes for not attending to your basic needs, to your kind of like Maslow stuff, you know, eat properly, sleep properly. And if your body's telling you, I'm tired, listen to it. Listen to it, because a lot of people's sleep patterns have gone all over the show. I know mine has at the minute. So it's just something to bear in mind. You know, listen to what your body tells you. And then when you ask it a question like, how am I? Try and do something about what it tells you back. And if it says, stop eating junk, Nicky, for example, maybe listen to that or not. And so I think that will bring us to the close of our session now. I'll certainly put the PowerPoint into the chat box, because what is a session without a PowerPoint, obviously, but really just for you maybe to use as an aid memoir if you want to. So before I head off, is there anybody who's got any comments or questions? Has anything been helpful?
Yeah, Nicky, thanks for that. If I'm honest with you, I feel like I've just had a little holiday.
Oh, that's a lovely thing to say. Thank you very much.
No, it's been brilliant. Thank you. I'm certainly going to put it into practice. Yeah, exactly. It's brilliant.
Nicky, sometimes, you know, breathing, you go into different stage. So I can breathe, and then have to breathe more. It doesn't go down to the diagram. So perhaps from what you described, the anxiety is quite high.
I think so. And also, don't forget, I was doing this to quite a fast rhythm, because I didn't know how long people could hold their breath for without it being like weird or uncomfortable. So when you're doing it by yourself, you'll find your own rhythm, you find your own routine. Can I just check in the chat box at the bottom, have you got the PowerPoint there if you want it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can relive this moment. Is there anything from you, Christiana? Do you want to? We're going to finish up the session now. I'm just saying thank you to everyone for your time. I honestly thought I'd be here by myself, so thank you so much. I'll hand back to you.